Henry and his family lived in a beautiful log cabin surrounded by evergreen trees. Behind the cabin, there were two trails. One path was wide and familiar. The other path was narrow and strange. Henry and his father often tread the wider trail together. It is along this trail that they collect food, water, and wood for the fireplace. Henry wonders what it would be like to travel the other path, but his father will not permit him. One night Henry heard a hooting sound outside, so he opened his bedroom window to see what was going on. At first everything was black, but after a few moments the light from the moon made it possible to see. The hooting sound came from an owl at the entrance of the forsaken trail. It called out again with a hooting sound, and then asked Henry if he would like to journey down the narrow trail. At first Henry was afraid, but his curiosity was too strong to ignore. "What is at the end of the trail?" asked Henry. "There is a fountain of water that spouts high into the air," replied the owl, "and it is the most beautiful sight to behold." "Will you take me there?" asked Henry. "Of course," said the owl, "but you must bring a shovel with you to help remove the rubbish in the way." So Henry skipped playfully down the trail as the owl flew above him. He worried that his parents might wake to discover him missing, but his new friend assured him that they would only be gone for a little while. After a short distance, they came upon a heap of rocks in the trail. The owl asked Henry to dig up the rocks with his shovel. Henry started to shovel as fast as he could. All of a sudden, a fox approached them and growled. It was a warning call to prevent Henry from digging. "If you remove those rocks, you will release the creatures that are trapped below," exclaimed the angry fox. "Do not heed the fox," replied the owl. "He is afraid that if you uncover the rocks, then you will disturb his hunting ground." "If you continue to dig, you will release the fairy folk trapped below," shouted the fox. "Why are they trapped below the rocks?" asked Henry. "Men buried the fairies in order to prevent them from using magic," replied the fox. "Is this true?" Henry asked the owl. "Yes, it is," responded the owl. "The fairies used to be the guardians of this forest. They prevented both men and animals from killing other animals, so the men hid them away under these rocks." "So why didn't you tell me beforehand?" asked Henry. "I thought you wouldn't want to help me, because you are the son of a man." "I am sorry, Henry, for not being honest with you," replied the owl. "I forgive you, Mr. Owl, and I would also like to free the fairies. Please keep an eye on the fox while I dig," asked Henry. "He won't come near you as long as you hold that shovel in your hands," said the owl. Henry continued to shovel for an hour before he removed the final rock from the pile. From a small hole in the ground came a wee creature no taller than 3 fingers high. His name was Gosling, and he was very grateful to Henry. For his release, he promised to keep Henry and his family safe. Gosling also welcomed him to visit the other fairies in the near future. The fox walked away with his tail between his legs. He could no longer eat other animals, so he would have to eat plants instead. Henry and the owl were happy about the new arrangement. They traveled back to the log cabin, and Henry was back in bed before the sunrise. The next day, his parents decided not to eat any more animals, and they all lived happily ever after in the middle of the woods. The end.